You are now listening to
the Primal Armor Podcast.
This episode is sponsored by Executive Fit LLC. They build custom deadlift platforms, custom barbell storage pieces, and make indoor and outdoor signage for your home or corporate gym. Every platform that pairs with a rack is customized to that specific rack, so everything fits nice and clean. And they ship nationwide. Each platform has a logo applied in a way that makes it impossible to peel up from wear and tear. They even make custom nameplates for your squat rack. Visit executivefitllc.com to request a quote and see what's available on their store. That's executivefitllc.com to upgrade your deadlift game today. Here we are, back again for episode 47. I've been really enjoying putting out episodes for you guys again in season 2. It's just been such a refreshing feeling compared to last season, and I'm really getting a lot of fulfillment out of recording each episode these days. And that's because so many big things have been happening since we started this new season. And these are things that I'm working on to try and set Primal Armor apart from all the other businesses and all the other podcasts out there. There are over 2 million podcasts out there today, and that number only continues to grow every single day. So think about that, 2 million podcasts. Think about all the different topics, interesting people, cool stories, things that make each show unique and why they have their loyal followers. But it also makes everything watered down because you're competing against so many other podcasts that are similar in topics. And that's tough to compete with. Primal Armor is going against 2 million other podcasts in a competitive field because there's only so much time in a day to listen to podcasts. So people can't listen to all of them. And that's why I've always tried to make my episodes short, sweet, and to the point. So you can get something out of them and not inconvenience your day by listening to hours worth of me babbling. And so you can finish them in a single sitting so you don't have to go back later and forget what I was saying. But with being a short form podcast, I really have just a few minutes to catch someone's attention and make a difference in their life so that they want to return again next week and listen. And that's the hardest part about being a short form podcast is you really have to not beat around the bush. You have to be very blunt in what you say to really catch someone's attention and have them come back next week. So what makes Primal Armor different than all the other podcasts and businesses out there? And why should you listen to us? Well, first and foremost, all the proceeds made from this podcast are donated towards Huntington's disease research. If you're a new listener this season and haven't listened to any prior episodes, then you should know that 2 of my sisters are affected by Huntington's disease. Huntington's disease is a terminal illness, and it doesn't have a cure at the moment. So I'm trying to make a difference in any way I can in the research department by helping fund those people that are trying to find a cure. And that's one thing that makes us very unique. We've even held a fundraiser that was Battle for Burpees, and it was a challenge I did a while back where I did burpees for an entire hour, and I raised thousands of dollars to donate towards the cause. So not many podcasters are out there branching out like that. So while my podcast really isn't as big as Joe Rogan's podcast or others similar like that, we have core values behind us that just make us different. And these values I hold very near and dear to my heart. We do a ton of talking about faith, fitness, and now fatherhood this season. But just being an overall genuine and good-hearted person while trying to help others and make a difference in the world is what we're really trying to do. And when I meet other people like that, I want to help them out as well. And this is why this year and this season of the Primal Armor podcast is so much different than before. We've partnered with some really cool people so far, and their willingness to hop on and join the fight against Huntington's disease is just what absolutely amazes me. As you heard at the start of the episode, we are now sponsored by Executive Fit LLC. I've done some personal work with Nate from Executive Fit, and through that, I got to share my story with him. And even through just messaging, I could tell how engaged and interested he was in my story. And I sat on that for a few days. And then it really hit me. I needed him to be a part of this movement. And when I asked him, he didn't even hesitate, and he wanted to collaborate together. And now that's a good dude right there. And I'm forever grateful for him being a part of this whole thing. And when I read the advertisement at the start of the episode, it doesn't do it justice. You need to check him out. On top of gym equipment and signs, he's made custom RV tables, coffee tables, and I'm sure if you have an idea, he can make it come to life. He's going to be a guest on the show here real soon, and he can tell you more about it. But this is someone you want to interact with. do business with, and honestly, just be good friends with. He's all about fitness and family, and he's a good-hearted dude. His values align with mine, and that's why I wanted them to be a part of the show and part of Primal Armor. So Nate, if you're listening to this, I want you to know I'm going to be forever grateful for you joining in on the Primal Armor team, and I cannot wait to have you on the show. So that's what makes Primal Armor different. It's the values we hold and the people we surround ourselves with in such a competitive market. People may not agree with what I say in certain episodes or may be offended by what I say, but these are the values that I hold. I'm a family man, and my family means everything to me. And I want people to listen to this, use the tips I give, get motivated, and live a healthier life so they can enjoy more time with their families and live longer. And sometimes that just takes some introspection that we don't want to do as humans. So my words can hurt feelings, but I'm just trying to be as blunt as I can to get these points across so you make those changes. I surround myself with like-minded individuals with similar values, and we're working towards being bigger and better every single day at Primal Armor, and Nate was the next step. Then through Nate, I got hooked up with Surplus Strength. Are you looking for the ultimate home gym setup? Upgrade to Surplus Strength. Surplus Strength provides custom gym spaces, universal pulley systems, and other gym attachments for your home gym. Visit surplusstrength.com today. As you just heard, they are also now a sponsor of the show, and I'm as excited as ever to bring them aboard. Jason from Surplus Strength is a veteran, a personal trainer, and a father. He also listened to my story, and he didn't hesitate to hop on board, and which again, I'm forever grateful for. They are some of the most generous people I've ever encountered, and especially when it comes to our cause with Huntington's disease. They create some of the coolest gym equipment out there. Their pulley system saves so much space in a gym, and not only that, it saves tons of money compared to all the other competitors out there. Surplus Strength is far from average. I know my home gym is a sacred place, and it's one of the most important places in my house. And soon, it's going to be built with Surplus Strength and executive fit stuff everywhere, because you need to reach out and help others that help you out. And I want to do business with these guys because of the values they hold, and they push me to do better. We're all in similar fields here, and they're really up and coming, so that makes me want to stay on top of my game and keep growing with them as well. And you don't even have to have a home gym to check these guys out and support them. Although, my next episode, if it's not one of these two guys being a guest, it'll be why you should invest in a home gym. But you don't have to invest in a home gym to support these guys. These are just good people, and good people need to help good people. So I want you guys to go check them out today. And I'm as honored as ever to be able to say they're part of the Primal Armor family now. And so what makes us different is our values and the people we associate ourselves with. And now we are associating ourselves with Executive Fit LLC and Surplus Strength. Primal Armor has grown so quickly and beyond what I ever thought it was going to be when I started this podcast. But that just gives me so much more motivation to see what's next and where I can take it. I know we're not just going to be a podcast forever. I have some ideas that are in the woodworks, so business is about to be booming. And we're just different because we aren't a regular podcast. We have a mission behind our name. And now we have people in our corner helping us on this mission. So yeah, I know we ain't a top of the charts type of podcast because we haven't invested thousands of dollars in editing and equipment to compete with those bigger podcasts yet. I still record things on my phone sometimes just to make sure I'm getting content out to you guys. I still have a full-time job that gets in the way of fully committing to having a studio and being a full-time podcaster like Joe Rogan and others on the top of these charts. It's a hard juggle sometimes, but I love what I'm doing. I love all the people that I work with, and I love all of my listeners that are helping in on this mission. So we aren't a top podcast in the Spotify charts yet, but we are the best podcast and best brand out there because of our values, because of the people that are in our corner, and because of the listeners that are just like you that keep this mission going strong. We aren't here to make money off this podcast. We're here to help others, both from the podcast itself and from Huntington's disease. This isn't about me or the brand. It's about you, helping you be better every single day. And that's what keeps the fire going inside of me to keep doing this podcast every single week. Because it's hard coming up with a new topic every week and to not copy others when there's 2 million other podcasts out there. It's hard to be unique on the podcasting front. But like I said, we're more than a podcast. We're an entire movement, and each one of you is a member in that movement. Primal Armor is more than just a podcast, and I'm going to keep saying that because we are something special. and I want to thank each and every one of you for getting us to where we're at today. A lot has changed since the start, with fundraisers, challenges, bringing on new sponsors, even being sponsored on the NASCAR itself, and countless more things. But my brain is always churning, and there's plenty more where this is coming from. So who knows where we're going next, but it's only going to get bigger and better from here. Again, check out Nate over at Executive Fit and Jason over at Surplus Strength. They're the ones keeping Primal Armor going right now, so I'd really appreciate you guys going and supporting them. And in the meantime, we can't forget about our dad joke of the week. I just really wish for one time in my life, someone would call me sir, without adding, "You're making a scene," afterwards. Before we end today's episode, I'd like to give a quick shout out to Anchor Podcasts. They distribute this podcast to you guys in just about any platform you may try to find us on, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many, many more. All the recording, editing, and final touches are also done through Anchor, which makes getting the Primal Armor podcast out to you guys very quick, easy, and mobile. You guys can also submit questions or voice messages that I can add to our next episode. Go download the Anchor.fm app today to check out what it's all about. I just want to thank you for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you back here again next week.